Welcome back to another Wecruit episode. This week is going to be myself once again focusing on trying to give a fresh push to some of the vacancies that came out last week. So last week we actually had 8 vacancies released, which is obviously fantastic that we've got lots of opportunity for us to be focusing on. Obviously for the last couple of weeks I've had some training, mentoring, things like that. Take up some of my time. So this week we'll be really focusing on just trying to rebuild my pipeline of new candidates, which means obviously speaking to a lot more people, going through the applications inbox, and obviously trying to engage with as many new candidates as possible. With that, like I said, I will be going through the applications inbox. Obviously on a Monday morning, there's lots that come over through the weekend, so I'll be running through them, checking out CVs, seeing if they're suitable for what they've applied for. If they're not suitable, seeing if there's anything else that they could be suitable for. Also, I'm going to be doing some headhunting on the major sort of job boards, as well as my own database and my pipeline that I've had previously, to just try and see whether we've got any candidates that we can contact to put forward to one of those 8 positions that we've got available. So hopefully a very, very busy week ahead of me, and lots more to show you guys. So I've just got in this morning after the weekend, and the first thing I'll do every Monday morning is just log onto my computer and get straight into my emails. The reason for that is typically I do have a couple of emails come through from candidates or clients, so it'll be good for me just to obviously get those sorted out and actioned as soon as possible. I've then also got a 9:30 and 10 o'clock meeting, so it'll be good for me to just get everything ready and make sure I'm as prepared as possible for those meetings. So I just left my 9:30 appointment, which was our plan for the week meeting, where myself, Ryan, Taylor and Abby run through our plan for the week and how we're going to really make an impact on our candidates and clients this week. So obviously we ran through our marketing initiatives, what we're going to do to be able to help our candidates and clients from a marketing perspective. We also ran through hot vacancies that we really need to put effort into, and also any areas that we need to really, improve or change how we sort of affect things. So this plan for the week meeting is a really, really productive meeting, which has given me lots of new ideas to think about going into my next appointment now at 10 o'clock. So that was another fantastic meeting there at 10 o'clock, where the head office team and the home-based consultants all get together for a weekly meeting where we run through again all of the top vacancies, all the vacancies that were released last week. And it's also an opportunity for us all to share our best hints and tips and any anything that we've noticed from the week before. Maybe it's been a little bit harder to get hold of candidates, or maybe it's been easier to get hold of candidates. Is there any clients that might be on holiday and that's obviously slowing down getting people booked in for meeting? Any sort of patterns like that are reoccurring that other consultants can see. It's a perfect opportunity for us to open the floor to share ideas and share individual pieces of information like that. Again, a really, really good meeting. It was also a little bit more in depth than the traditional weekly one, because it's now the start of the month. We run through how our monthly performance was, any areas that we could have done better, and also just planning again for the next month ahead. Is there any areas that we need to really focus on, or is there any areas that we need to put less focus on to free up some time for some other areas? So again, a really, really, really positive meeting, which hopefully will just sort of put us all in the right mindset moving forward. So another fantastic end to my day today. This afternoon I've spoken with 3 people who all ended up wanting to get their CV sent across to the client, which is just fantastic. 2 of which I've already managed to get sent across, 1 of which I just wrapped up the call with now. So I'll make sure that I get that sent across by the end of the day. But yeah, fantastic day. I managed to get 3 submissions off, which obviously will really help with boosting my pipeline again. So one of the first things that I'll do every morning when I come in is I will go through the applications that have come through overnight from all of the major job boards and our website, just to establish whether the candidate is good for what they've applied for, or whether they're good for anything else that we currently have available at that time. If they are good, I'll then send them across to one of our consultants, who will then give them a call and hopefully get them put forward to one of our companies. So that's what I'm just going to do now. I'm just going to crack on with getting through the inbox, and hopefully that'll be cleared in the next hour or so. So a big part of my role is going through candidate CVs, whether it's applications coming into the inbox or headhunting on the major job boards. I've got to really break down a candidate CV and understand what it is that their experience is, what qualifications they've got, and whether they're suitable for the roles that we're recruiting for. Now, this morning, as I was going through the inbox, going through candidates' applications, I had a sudden realisation that I wasn't taking too long to actually look at CVs. So I did a quick little bit of research, and actually, on average, a recruiter will take between 6 to 8 seconds looking at a CV before they've established whether this candidate is suitable or not. Now that made me think, there's only one thing that I need to do, and that's make sure that the candidates out there know what to be putting into a CV to make it stand out and catch the recruiter's eye in the 6 to 8 seconds. Now, I've compiled a couple of just little notes, little hints and tips that I thought I'd share with you today. So the first one is a covering letter. Now, some people will add them, some people won't. It can go a long way, but it's not a necessary requirement. Now, if you feel like your situation might be a little bit different than the norm, or your experience is slightly different, or you've almost got your qualification and you want to, preempt the job search, then a covering letter could be really, really, really helpful. Because what it's going to do is it's going to give something else than what your CV will offer. However, if you don't feel like a covering letter will give much more and you're just going to be sort of explaining what shows in the CV, then perhaps leave the cover letter out and just let the CV do the work for you. Secondly is LinkedIn. If you've got a LinkedIn profile, this could be such a help to put onto your CV. Now the reason for that is it gives another thing visually for the recruiter to look at, but also for the employer that the recruiter might then eventually put your CV forward to. It gives a different sort of understanding of what your experience is, and obviously it runs through your career history on your LinkedIn profile as well as what is on your CV, so it just gives something else to match up to see what your experience is. Now getting into the actual CV. So I've got 3 main points to understand and note. The first one is keep it simple. For a recruiter, like I said, we don't take very long looking at a CV, so I would say don't make it really fancy, lots of bold colours, pictures and things like that. Just keep it simple, refined, and make sure that the most important information is in that CV. You don't want any crazy sort of formats or anything like that, because it can make it quite hard for myself or any other recruiter out there to try and find what is actually in the CV, what key bits of information we're looking for. Now, in terms of size, I would say it shouldn't be any more than 2 sides of an A4 piece of paper. The reason for that is myself, but also employers, if we get this CV sent across to the client, they're not going to be wanting to sift through lots and lots and lots of text to find the most key information. So if you can refine, each job title to only a few bullet points, and your profile to only a couple of major points, that will then refine your CV down to 2 or 3 pages. Now, this is where the covering letter comes back into play, that if you feel I've not been able to add enough here, the covering letter gives that little bit more to add to that CV, so that a recruiter or potential employer can have a read through of that if they're sort of not really understanding what it is that's in that CV. Secondly would be, don't be too generic. What I mean by that is, don't just make one CV and send that to everybody. What you want to do is make sure that if it's an industry that you're really keen to get into, or an industry that you're already in, then refine your CV for that industry. So for example, if you're wanting to get into the mortgage industry and you're a trainee mortgage advisor, make your CV around the fact that you want to become a trainee mortgage advisor. Add your skills that you feel are most transferable to the role of a trainee mortgage advisor. Also, any of your most important information for that specific role you're applying for should be plain and obvious in that CV. For example, that trainee mortgage advisor, you're not in the industry before, but you've gone out and you've got the certificate in mortgage advice and practice. That should be one of the first things that I read. So I'm expecting that to be in your profile. Now, what I mean by that is, refining and making sure that your CV reflects the job that you're applying for would be in your profile summary. You're saying, I'm really keen to get into the mortgage industry. I've recently passed my certificate in mortgage advice and practice, and now I'm looking for my first career move in financial services. That just makes me understand straight away from the first line of your CV what it is that your situation is, and then it doesn't matter what the history is because I understand what you're trying to achieve. Whereas if you have applied for a mortgage advisor role with no mortgage experience, it then might be quite confusing as to what it is that you're actually trying to achieve. Finally, I would say you always got to check your CV, always updating it. So spell check is a big thing. Obviously, if I'm reading this and I'm sending it to a potential client, obviously I will spell check that myself. However, for candidates sending it to potential employers, but also candidates submitting it for an application for a role, just spell check it, just run it through and make sure that what you're trying to get across is portrayed in that CV. Next, I would make sure that it's always updated. Whether it's just a new duty that you've been doing, which actually could be quite detrimental to whether you get a job or not, make sure that you add that new role in. If you've left a role, put that you've left that role. Yes, it can sometimes look like, oh, what have they been doing for the last 2 or 3 months? However, it is much more appropriate to be honest and put there that you've finished that role and you're now looking for your next role than it is to leave it as present and not update it, because then as a recruiter I believe that you're actually still in that role, which then again can be quite sort of detrimental in further conversations. And finally, don't leave career gaps. If you've had a time out for whatever reason, you went travelling, you raised a family, whatever your reason might be, just put that reason in there. So between 2008 and 2010 I went traveling through Asia, for example. Just put that there so it doesn't look like you've just not done anything for those 2 years, and also refine that down. If it's only 2 or 3 months that you've been out of a role, why have you been out for those 2 or 3 months? Just to give a little bit more of an insight. I hope this has been really helpful, and hopefully we'll see some of you taking the tips on board for your CVs in the future. So I've had another fantastic morning this morning. So in May 2021, I joined Premier Jobs UK on a level 3 recruitment consultant apprenticeship. And this morning I received a letter, which was my certificate, which finally came through today, which is obviously just fantastic. It shows that I've successfully passed the course with the grade of distinction, which is just amazing that, you know, I've been able to get that. So I just thought I'd share with you all that I got that through. So we've just finished now setting up the camera for a new video that I'm going to be filming today. So that video is a vacancy video for one of our clients that we've been working with since the end of last year. They've come to us for a fresh push of recruitment coming into the last part of the year. They still want to hire another 10 financial advisors. So I'm going to be doing a vacancy video just to educate the candidates that we've currently got watching our YouTube channel about how fantastic this role is, and hopefully we can get some people applying in. So just to go over now and have a look at the camera and how that is set up. So let's just go. So like you would have seen, it's just a very similar camera like this, and it's got one of these where I will put my little script up on there, just so I'm making sure to include all of the most important information. I've also obviously got a microphone so everyone can hear me, and then the camera itself. I will just be sat in this little chair here, and obviously we'll be speaking into it. So yeah, that is how I set up the camera ready for one of these vacancy videos. So I'm just about to film the new vacancy video now, so let's get into it. Would you be interested in a financial advisor vacancy that's home-based, has regular leads provided, and full autonomy? Wow, we've got a fantastic new opportunity to recruit multiple financial advisors to join a rapidly growing financial advisory firm that's based across the whole of the UK. So that's me just finished recording the video. So I've sent that across to our marketing team, who should edit it and get it up to YouTube the next week or so. So make sure you're having a look out for that. Also now I'm going to run into another meeting with one of my colleagues just to run through my pipeline, as I'm able to get Thursday, Friday off this week for annual leave. So I'm just going to run through with her what my pipeline looks like and what she'll be able to help with whilst I'm away, just so all my candidates are always being updated and always staying in the loop with what's going on with their job search. And obviously if I'm away, I'm not going to be able to speak with somebody after a meeting, so that's what I'm just going to be updating her with. So I've just come out of the meeting with Abby, where I ran through sort of what my pipeline looks like and how she can help me over the next 2 days while I'm off. So now I'm just going to get cracking on with some work, tying up the loose ends, making sure that I make the calls I need to before I now go on annual leave for 2 days, ready for when I come back on Monday. So that's me now done for the week. I've just been finalising a couple of emails and making a few calls to some of my clients and candidates, just to prepare them for the week that is ahead next week. It's been another fantastic week for myself. I've had lots of new candidates come to me and have sort of conversations to be able to get their details sent across to some of our clients. We also had a client come back to us maybe a week ago or so, who offer a fantastic sales advisor position. They want to really ramp up their recruitment and they want to use us to help them with their growth plans. So it's been fantastic for me to be able to get 4 candidates sent across them for different locations across the UK, to be able to really help them with their recruitment drive. I've also had a couple of other candidates for some of our key areas been able to get sent off, so it's been a very, very productive week. To top it off, I've also had 2 fantastic offers for a power planner and a financial advisor. The power planner has accepted and has already handed in his resignation. He was that excited, and he is fully ready to start at the start of October. And the financial advisor we've been going back and forward to help him getting the contract, getting the application and everything that he sort of needs to reassure him that this is the right step for him. He's going from an employed role to a self-employed role, so there is a little bit of hesitation there for him, but this is what my role is, helping him from taking that step and realising the benefits of it. He obviously wanted a lot more of a relaxed environment. He didn't want to be in the office all the time, and he wanted a lot more autonomy over his diary and the sort of hours that he's working. So self-employed is a perfect option for him, and the company that we have as well is a really, really fantastic company. So it's a brilliant match, and I'm sure that by the end of the week he will have sort of made his decision as to whether he would like to go forward with that or not. So lots more to come next week, hopefully. Lots more vacancies to come out, lots of new candidates hopefully to speak to. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.